Now that I have a very rough mix, and I emphasize very rough, I want to group together related instruments so that I can work with sections together. There are a couple other things we can do when we make groups as well, which I will show you. So let's start by grouping our drums together. So I'm going to select from the bass drum and shift-click the overheads. And now to group them together, I can choose Group from the track menu or use the shortcut Command G. When I do, I get this dialog box. First, asks me for a name. That's pretty obvious. And then I have a couple other choices. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Over here, it's telling me that I have a choice of making this a group just for editing, just for mixing, or for both. I almost always make my groups for both, but you can have separate groups for editing and mixing if you want. Down here are all the available tracks, and it's already taken the ones that I selected and put them right here in this right-hand column. So these tracks will be in my new group. If I change this, for example, I can use this down here to add the tracks that I've selected, either add them or replace what I have. And that will quickly grab the tracks and put them in the group. And of course, I can add things from the left-hand column. I can remove things and move them back. Now this group will be assigned a letter ID. Right now it's A, and I can choose a different one, but we'll just stick with the default. And we know now that when I'm in Command Focus mode and I press A, and there's that AZ lit up, I can turn drums on or off. And you can see in the group area, drums are turned on or off. Notice that the drum group even has its own color, shown by the color bar here. That makes it really nice to quickly, visually see where my groups are. Now once I have my group defined, what can I do with it? Well, in this case, if I move one of my faders down, they'll all move. If I change my panning, though, they don't all change. What if I solo my bass drum? They didn't all solo. What if I mute my bass drum? Well, they all muted. That's good. What if I press record? Let me assign some inputs here just so I can show you record. And we'll do one here too. And what happens if I press record? Nope, they didn't all go on record. So clearly some things are affected by grouping and some things aren't. We'll look at that in a moment. Let's create another group. Percussion. And you can see how fast I can do this. How about guitars? Let's do acoustic guitars. Let's do electric guitars. And let's include that also with all four and do EGT plus solo. So I can have groups that are nested. I can have groups that show up multiple times. Okay, I'm going to take this instrument track, drag it all the way down to the bottom of my list here, so it's out of the way. And I'm going to take this MIDI track and do the same thing. Let's group this together and call this organ. And add the piano and call this keys. And then take all my brass. Vox. Background vox. And we'll add that to my primary vocal and call this all vox. All right. Now you can see all of my groups. Let me go into narrow mix mode. And you can see quickly as I use my Command Focus keys how I can turn them all on or off. I'm just hitting A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And now if I just want to turn on my organs, F, my organs are grouped. I can see there. And turn on the brass, H, all my brass are grouped, and so forth. One last thing I want to show you. You may remember when we're in the Edit window, we have 3 Command Focus modes. Command Option 1 gets me to edit Command Focus. Command Option 2 gets me to the clip list. Command Option 3 gets me to the group list. But when I'm in the mixer, the group Command Focus is automatically selected for me. So That's really nice. I can be working in the editor in command focus mode here and switch to the mixer and start using my letters to select groups. So in the next video, we'll learn about modifying groups.